Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and this is Hiring America. For the next 30 minutes, you'll see stories about military veterans and their families. Hiring America is a show that provides real career opportunities for veterans and features stories about remarkable organizations supporting the military community. Stay tuned, and you'll learn more on how you can support this vital mission.
This week on Hiring America, see what happens when a famous Special Forces unit reunites in Florida to start their own company. A union program in Chicago that gives veterans careers, not just jobs. And an entrepreneurial insight from a veteran business owner on networking in the age of social media. Hiring America starts right now.
The Armed Forces provides amazing training.
I think about veterans as people who have already figured out how to serve.
My military skills have been essential.
Hiring veterans is a great business case. They're the best employees we have. They're flexible, hardworking, and they're used to a global workplace.
If that isn't an asset to any company, I don't know what is.
Hiring America, the award-winning television job fair for American veterans. Connecting you with companies who know your value. Learn about employers who are actively hiring today and organizations that support veterans. Your future success starts right here on Hiring America.
Hiring America, produced in partnership with DAV, fulfilling our promises to the men and women who served.
They were some of the first U.S. soldiers sent into Afghanistan to fight the war on terror. As members of various Special Forces teams, they were connected by their experience on elite missions and their love of country. But when their military service ended, they found a way to keep their team together by starting a business and pouring their passion and pride into making bourbon whiskey.
American Freedom Distillery came about because, well, some of us have been friends for many years. We went to the first Gulf War together. We've been together for close to 30 years. I had the first unclassified mission in the War on Terror. Mark had the Horse Soldier mission, Operational Detachment ODA 595, which was the team that went into Afghanistan on horseback. With the movie, everybody wants to talk to Bob and Mark, the commander and the assistant commander of 595, the Horse Soldiers. That movie is about the Green Beret Special Forces team that goes in and has to link up with somebody they've never met before and then conduct a mission and do what it is that we do best, which was to help oppressed peoples find the wherewithal to fight battles and win their independence back. A big part of the reason that we decided to go into business together was that, well, we wanted to get the band back together, as it were, and keep it together. What happened is that John and Scott had gone off to do some horseback riding in, I think it was Montana. But on the way back from this horseback trip, they stopped at a distillery and they were like, we could do this. This is cool. We could do this. And so they came back and we just started learning everything that we needed to do so that we could make whiskey. Our motto is literally, we make whiskey for ourselves. What we don't drink, we sell. And that's the way we do everything. But I mean, that is kind of the same ethos we had in special operations, right? You know, special operations, you know, you can't mass produce that kind of thing. You focus on quality. Just because we're all fabulously good-looking dudes doesn't mean that we didn't spend a lot of research. And what you find with a lot of craft distillers, it's really hard to compete against the big guys, right? They can work at economies of scales and they can make bourbon for much less money than we can do. So many craft distilleries have been successful in their earlier years because of tours. So we're building an experiential center. No matter where you're at in the facility, and it's almost 18,000 square feet, you'll be able to see the stills in the background and all the production. I guess my advice to anybody who would be thinking about starting their own business, especially a veteran, is that you don't You didn't spend your military career doing it on your own, so you don't want to start off your new career doing it that way either. Don't change what you know. Go do it with your buddies, and if you don't have buddies that are going to go into business with you, then find some buddies and get the education that you need. If you're a veteran, come contact us. I mean, there's a small group of veteran-owned distilleries, and we're all very helpful with each other. And so anything that we can do to help other people who want to get into distilling would be something that we want to do. That's how we got our start. If somebody wanted to get into the distilling business, you don't want to underestimate how much space you're going to need. And it's not that you might need more space for your stills, it's just that people are going to want to come visit you, and so you want to be thinking early on about the experience that you're going to be able to provide folks, because it's cool stuff and people want to know about it. I can sit here all day and geek out with you on whiskey math because it's cool. But with bourbon, you have to let it sit for a while. So you have to make it, and then you have to sit on all that capital. So first of all, understanding how all that works. And then what you have to be able to do is to be able to predict what is the demand going to be 4 or 5 years from now, and then you have to make all that now. And then you have to find a way to do that. That's a lot of capital to be sitting around. So kind of wrapping your head around all of that and making sure that you have enough capital to do that is really what you have to do to be successful in the bourbon business. Part of what made us successful is that we didn't know all the things that were going to jump up in our way. Part of what we were used to in Special Forces is your commander would say to you, I have no idea what you need to do, but go there to the other side of the world, figure it out and get it done. This for us was essentially doing the same thing that we'd ever did on an SF mission. If we knew everything ahead of time, we might have hesitated a little bit too long. So I think it's not necessarily a bad thing that you don't know everything about your business until you're so far in deep. You know, you're up to your chest in the swamp, and there's no going back at that point. It's just like, okay, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen.
When the movie 12 Strong was released, some of the horse soldiers involved in the distillery received a lot of publicity. Now they feel part of their mission is to use that recognition and their business to honor the memory of those who perished in the 9/11 attack.
The towers had fell when I was in high school, and I waited a year, made up my mind, and then went in.
I was one of the original soldiers that went in on the early days after the 9/11 attacks.
Every bottle that's going to go through that mold will have been touched by World Trade Center steel. As we say, kind of forged in fire, kind of like we have been throughout our careers.
It makes it so much more important for us, so much more real for us, so much more of an honor for us.
This is the American dream. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts. We've got our bottle molds made out of ground zero steel. We've got bourbon made by the guys that were on horseback over in Afghanistan.
With the statue of the horse soldiers in New York at ground zero, we all feel kind of like we're connected to it.
Each one of these bottles is its own little memorial.
All good journeys have a beginning, middle, end. They're based on history. Our story's based in history. We continue to make history, and we continue to be part of history.
Join the conversation. Follow Hiring America on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. The Utility Workers Military Assistance Program is one of many options for transitioning veterans looking for work. But what sets UMAP apart is its record of nearly 100% job placement.
It was tough coming home because, yes, they had TAPS programs, They had awareness programs to let you know what to be aware of when you get home. But what they didn't say was that life doesn't stop just because you're away. Life continues. And those kids that were in college, were getting out of college, getting their work. The fortunate thing is that a lot of them didn't want trades. They didn't want to do any work with their hands. And I was very fortunate that that was all I was used to doing.
Transitioning veterans want to make sure that when they leave the military itself, that there's some type of direction in their life. And this program itself changes that mechanism to feeling hopeless, not having a form of teamwork, and it just instills again the program's values of what they did learn in the military and makes that veteran feel like they belong again to something once they transition out. The Utility Workers Military Assistance Program is a program that utilizes a lot of different supportive services to find transitioning veterans who are coming back from military service and placing them in employment across the country in the utility industry that we represent. Our young people are getting 52 college credit hours in a 6-month accelerated program. And once they graduate from the program itself, they receive their training certificate and then get employed at the employer of choice.
For People's Gas, it has been a very good program. We've been able to bring in over 400 new employees that we've hired through the UMAP program, and it's been beneficial for both the company and for those employees that have come on board as we see their success and their careers expand through the years as they've come into the company. Many of our employees stay with the company for their life. We have a lot of employees who have 25, 30, 35 years of experience, essentially a lifetime with the company. And we look at these new employees, these new utility workers, as those being the future of our company.
We've tried to mirror the program to our employer partners' needs. So we create a very stringent 8-hour workday for them. They get physical education training. They're in school 5 days a week, and mirrored this 6-month program so that we believe the veteran will have some skin in the game once they make it through the program. So there are some facets of the program that are very demanding, but at the end of the day, having the veteran community in the program itself, some of those traits are already born into the skill set that they developed in the military. Veterans have no cost to themselves at all. We use rapid response dollars through DOL grants with the Chicago Federation of Labor, one of our funding partners, and then all of our supportive services that kick in throughout our program itself, from bus passes to food vouchers, work boot allowances, book allowances, computers. All those things are taken care of so that the veteran can focus on the studies at hand.
It was tough because you're finishing with 50 college credits, which means you're going to school all day. We did about 2 hours of gas work, and then the rest of the day was spent on our college curriculum. And those days were long, but I mean, to know that we were going to have a career at the end of it, it just made it all worth it. I enjoy going to work every day and seeing fellow veterans there because that's who I've gone through the hardest of times with. They understand what it was like. They went through Marine Corps boot camp with me, just not at that time. They sacrificed what I sacrificed. They knew what oath we took. They know what motto, creed we live by. And to be able to see them every day is powerful.
Programs like UMAP are important for veterans because it gives them an opportunity to take their skills, training experiences and apply those into a meaningful civilian career opportunity. So they're getting a valuable skill that will lead to a job that also provides academic credit from which they can build at future points to increase their educational and career opportunities. It's a wonderful marriage of multiple different elements combining to a larger, greater good, a greater outcome for our veterans.
There aren't many places that offer what this is offered, a career at the end of it. It's unheard of. I worked at other companies, I worked at places that said they wanted to put vets to work, but they weren't giving us the type of money that we got here. It changed my life, it changed my family's life. It's worth it because we're able to go straight into our career. I hope that there are more programs like this, exactly like this, because there are a lot of job fairs, there are a lot of places that offer veterans employment, but a lot of it is broken promises. And that if you hear of any of these places or you've been through any of these places, don't be deterrent away from going through a UMAP program, because it literally is fulfilling the promises that they're offering.
I'm a veteran. My victory was admitting I had PTSD and getting help.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I no longer see it as a weakness, but as a sign of strength. I call it post-traumatic growth.
DAV provides a lifetime of support, helping veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I am a veteran. I lost both legs in Vietnam.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans so they can reach victories great and small.
My victory was getting my benefits and a good education.
I'm a veteran. When I got out, I felt like nowhere was safe. My victory was finding the help I needed.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
Thanks to DAV, now I feel like I'm human again.
Help support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
One of my big mantras is reality is your friend. The reality of social media is those aren't real friends. Those are connections. Most people are posturing and showing their best sides. I think one of the fatal flaws of people is that we judge our insides by other people's outsides. The best thing you can do is get face to face with somebody and get real with them. And as soon as you start getting real with them and transparent, say, hey, here's my struggle, guess what? They start to share their struggles. And then it's like, oh my gosh, we're in this together, right? And then you got a battle buddy all of a sudden. Yeah, let's have lots of friends on social media. Let's use it as a marketing tool, but you cannot build relationships, real relationships, through social media. Start small. If you go to an event and you're like really introverted, just say, I'm gonna meet one person today. Just one connection, you know? But even smaller than this, you can say, hey, when I go to the grocery store, I'm actually gonna say hi to somebody that I didn't say hi to before. I'm actually gonna engage the barista at my favorite coffee shop. Start that way. You have to be courageous. You have to be courageous. Step out, introduce yourself to somebody that you've never met before, and then follow up. How often do you go to a conference and you walk home with a bunch of business cards in your pocket and that's the last you do with them? You got to build the bridges and then you got to walk across that bridge.
Reach out to us at hiringamerica.net. We want to hear your stories, questions, and comments.
For many years, it's been my great honor to have been able to dedicate much of my time to supporting the veteran community. The Gary Sinise Foundation fills a critical gap for veterans and military families with a range of initiatives. The foundation builds adaptive, smart technology homes for our most severely wounded service members, serves the children of fallen military heroes, and provides education and outreach to bring together civilians and the military community. If you'd like to learn more or get involved, please go to GarySiniseFoundation.org. And remember that while we can never do enough to show our gratitude to our nation's defenders and their families, we can always do a little more.
Thanks for watching. Remember that you can always find this episode and others on our YouTube channel. Reach out to us at hiringamerica.net or on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We want to hear your stories, questions, and comments. Join us again next week right here on Hiring America.
Hiring America, produced in partnership with DAV, fulfilling our promises to the men and women who served. Promotional consideration provided by JetBlue, a proud employer of those who served.